So today we are going to continue again with the axis cavity preparation. Last time we have seen what is axis cavity preparation and what are the principles of axis cavity preparation. We try to finish the axis cavity preparation today. Okay. So last time, like principles of cavity preparation, we have seen outline form, continuous form, then removal of extra caries and restoration. And both principle is the toilet of the cavity. Now we are going to see individually how to prepare access cavity preparation for each. For example, like for central incisor, how is the access cavity preparation? For lateral incisor, for premolars and for molars. Okay, so we are starting with the central incisor. See, there are certain things which are common for the access cavity preparation. They are the speed in the enamel should be highest. Okay, this is whichever the group is, the some rules are same. Like while preparing the cavity enamel, the speed should be highest. While you are going into the dentin, speed should be reduced, and when you are reaching to pulp, the speed should be minimum. So that see, pulp it is a soft tissue. So that there will be no resistance as soon as you reach the pulp. Suddenly you will feel that your bird drop inside the pulp. You should able to feel that bird drop inside the pulp. Okay, so it may be a central incisor, it may be a lateral incisor, it may be a molar. Okay, the speed in enamel should be highest. Second speed in the dentin should be reduced, and as soon as you reach the pulp, the speed should be reduced to feel the drop of the bird inside the pulp chain. Next thing, whenever the access cavity is completely formed, you have to make the walls of the access cavity and as well as the walls of the enamel and dentin over the access cavity divergent towards the occlusal or incisor surface, so that you should able to remove all pulp tissue from the pulp chain. Am I clear? So whichever the access cavity, the walls of the access cavity should be divergent towards the occlusal or incisal surface, so that you can easily scoop out the pulp from the pulp chain. Okay, so this is the common rules which you need to follow. Okay, so we'll see first the access cavity preparation for the central incisor. Here it is a central incisor. So always the access cavity or the incisor you have to do with the help of whether it is a central incisor, lateral incisor, whether it is of mandibular, whether it is of maxillary. So central incisor, lateral incisor and canine. Okay, you have to always remember that your entry point of the birth it is above the cingulum. Okay, in case of anterior, lateral, central and canine, the entry point of your birth it is above the cingulum. Okay, so it is at the middle of the middle one third of the tooth. If you take it as above the cingulum, it is middle of the middle one third of the tooth. Okay, so at this point you have to, this is the point of your entry of the bird. Your bird should be placed here. Okay, now whenever you enter, I told you in enamel the speed should be highest. Okay, that second thing, in enamel the burr should be perpendicular to the enamel surface. Means in while entering into this enamel, the burr should be perpendicular to your enamel. As soon as you reach the dentin, your burr should be 45 degree to the your tooth. Means it is towards the long axis of the tooth. Okay, so when you enter the dentin, your burr should be, see the central incisor it is proclinated, so you have to make an angulation, or in short words, when you reach into the dentin, it should be parallel to your long axis of the tooth. So here the first thing, the initial point it is above the cingulum, means it is middle of the middle one third, and here the speed should be highest. Okay, and it is the burr penetration, it is perpendicular to the enamel surface. As soon as you reach the dentin, see here, as soon as you reach the dentin, what you have to do, your burr should be parallel to the long axis of the tooth. Your burr should be Here it is 45 degree to the angle of this. Here it is 45 degree. So it should be parallel to the long axis of the tooth. Now, when you reach the pulp, I told you in the denting, the speed of the bird should be reduced. Okay, and as soon as it reaches the pulp, you are near to pulp. What you have to do? The speed should be minimum, so that you should be able to feel the drop of the bird inside the pulp chamber. Drop of the bird inside the pulp chamber. In the last lecture, I told you which are the different burrs used for the access cavity preparation. It was 2, 4, 6 number round burr as well as the taper Fisher burr. So here the entry point it is we have done with the help of round burr. With the help of round burr. So which number you are going to use? 2, 4, 6. In case of anterior tooth, always you have to use 4 number of round burr. As the pulp chamber it is larger. Okay, as the pulp chamber is larger. So here the entry point in the enamel, the burr should be perpendicular to the enamel surface. As you raise the dentin, it should be parallel to the long axis of the dent, parallel to the long axis of the tooth. And second thing, the speed should be reduced in the dentin, and as you go near to the pulp, the speed should be minimum so that you can feel the drop of the burr inside the pulp chamber. Now you can see this is the burr, it is dropped inside the pulp chamber, but now this part it is still the roof of the pulp chamber, it is still intact. So how you are going to remove this roof of the pulp chamber? You have to remove the roof of this pulp chamber. You are going to remove with the outward motion of this round burr. Roof of the pulp chamber you have to remove with the help of outward motion of this round burr. De-roofing of the complete de-roofing of the pulp chamber it is necessary, otherwise there will be some remnants of pulp tissue will be present inside the pulp chamber, and this necrosed pulp will again reinfect the other part of the root canal. So we have to remove complete pulp tissue. Complete pulp tissue, if you don't remove, one chance is that the root canal again get reinfected because this pulp it is infected, and second thing, this remaining pulp tissue may discolor the tooth. It may discolor the tooth. So we don't want discoloration. So we have to remove the complete roof of the pulp chamber. Second thing, complete deroofing of the pulp chamber will give you complete vision of your floor of the pulp chamber. If you get a complete vision of the floor of the pulp chamber, you can easily locate the canal orifices. Otherwise, some part of the pulp chamber you cannot see, so you cannot locate the complete orifices. Means there are chances of missing of canals orifices. Okay, so complete de-roofing of the pulp chamber it is necessary. Second thing, you can see that this part it is okay. This is the convexity which is present in the cingulum area. So this is called lingual tubercle, or it is called lingual shoulder. This is also we have to remove so that you will get a straight line axis. Here you can see there is no straight line axis. Here this is the lingual. What is this? Lingual tubercle. Lingual tubercle or linguals, you can say cingulum area. Here it is the convexity is there. Lingual shoulder is there. This you have to remove, and this is you are going to remove with the help of Gaskelian burr. You are going to remove with the help of Gaskelian burr. If you don't remove this, I told you, your instrument should be straight till your coronal vantha. This is the straight line axis. In the first lecture we have discussed, here it is a straight line axis. Here it is not a straight line axis. So this lingual shoulder you have to remove with the help of GG burr. When you remove this, your file will go directly into the apical foramina. There is no straight line axis if you don't remove this lingual shoulder. Okay, so once you once you feel the drop of the burr inside the pulp chamber in any tooth, this is a common rule, you have to de-roof completely the pulp chamber. And the second thing, you have to remove this lingual shoulder. You have to remove this lingual shoulder to get a straight line access to the apical foramen. Here, you can remove the lingual shoulder with the help of GT, or you can also remove with the help of taper Fisher burr. So after completion of the complete access cavity preparation, it will look like this. See, the shape of the access cavity preparation it is similar to the external shape of the tooth at the C junction. Shape of the axis cavity, outline of the axis cavity, it is similar to the external surface of the tooth at the CE junction. Okay. Now, I told you this is an axis cavity preparation for all the anterior teeth. So, whether it is mandibular, whether it is maxillary, the cavity preparation, axis cavity preparation, entry point, speed, de-roofing, removing of lingual shoulder, it is same for the all the anterior teeth, means for all central incisor, lateral incisor, and the canine. Okay. Here, in case of canine, at the C junction, the shape of the cross section of the tooth at the C junction, if you take a cross section of the tooth at the C junction, it is oval. So, axis cavity will be oval. I told you the outline of the axis cavity, it is same as the outline of the tooth cross section if you take at the C junction. So here the outline of the canine will be open. Same thing, just now I told you, here the entry point, then perpendicular to the enamel surface, then long axis, follow the, when you reach the dentin, follow the long axis of the tooth, then feel the drop of the burr inside the pulp chamber, then de-roofing, then removing of lingual shoulder, and then walls of the axis cavity you have to make divergent. Can you see the walls of this axis cavity? Here it is made divergent so that you can direct get access to the pulp in the pulp of the pulp chamber. Here, per tooth we are going to discuss the average length of the tooth. It is 23.3 millimeter. In 100% of canal, there is a one canal and one apical foramina. Okay. In some tooth, you may find a one root and two canals. So the percentage here it is very important. So if you take a central incisor, you will definitely get a one canal only. Okay. And other things are not important for you. That is for PG purpose. Okay. If you take a lateral incisor, average length of the tooth, it is very necessary, it is 22.8. Okay, and in 99.9%, you will get only one root and one canal. Okay, there is no variation as such. Okay, if you take a canine, 100% of it is one canal, and the average length is 26 millimeter. Okay, now the same thing it is repeated here. If it is a mandibular central incisor, all the steps are similar to the maxillary central incisor. Only the burr size for the, that I told you that for axis cavity preparation we use a round burr, okay, or a taper fissure burr. The size as the pulp chamber it is small. The size of the burr should be small. The size of the burr for entering inside the pulp chamber should be small. Okay, average length for the central incisor it is 21.5 millimeter. For lateral incisor it is 22.4. Here just look, just like see here the lateral incisor it is slightly larger than the central incisor. Okay, now it is very important thing I am going to tell you is that you all of learn the DEDS. In that we are seeing that central incisor has one root. Okay, so one root and one canal. Okay, this is till now you know this thing. Okay, till now you know this thing. But here I am going to emphasize on one thing, that if you take a central incisor, please see that in central incisor, in 70% of cases, you will have a one canal and one foramina. But in 23.4% of the cases, you will see two canals. Can you see two canals? And these two canals, they are going to merge or they will be separate. They are going to merge or they will be separate. So two canals, two foramina, it is in the 6% of cases. Sometimes these two canals merge in the apical one third. So this is the percentage, it is 23.4%. Means all of you remember whenever you are going to see do the root canal of the mandibular central incisor and lateral incisor, there are chances that you may get a 23.4% chances that you may get a two canals. You may get a two canal orifices, which will further unite to form a one canal, one foramen. Okay, so it is not like that. Central incisor has a single root, means it will, you will see a single root canal. You may get 23.4% chances are that you may get a two canals. You may get a two canals, and that may unite to form one foramen. Or in 6.5% there are two canals and two foramina. These things you should know very well, because you are going to treat the tooth. If you don't know this thing, that there may be chances of two canals, you will find only one canal and you treat only one canal, and there will be the tooth RCT failure. Next is your mandibular canine. Okay. Next is your mandibular canine. The average length of the mandibular canine is 25.2 millimeter, and in 94% of the cases there will be one canine. Okay, but in 6% of the cases in mandibular canine you may get a two canals and two foramina. Means you should not get surprised if you get a two canals in mandibular canine. Okay. What are the errors you can do in while treating the? What are the errors you can do while doing the access cavity preparation? See, you all of you know the mandibular, maxillary central incisor and lateral incisor. They are inclined. Maxillary central incisor, they are labially inclined at an angle of 29 degree. Okay, and majorly they are inclined at an angle of 16 degree. Okay, if you don't follow the long axis of the tooth, what will happen? You will gauze the pulp chamber. You will gauze the pulp chamber. Here, the direction of the burr should be parallel to the long axis of the tooth. If you are not making 20, and to make a parallel to the long axis of the tooth, your burr should be made at a 29-degree angle to the your occlusal surface. Otherwise, there will be the gauzing of the pulp chamber. And if you continue this gauzing, what will happen? Your burr will perforate from the labial surface. And if this pulp but it goes beyond this your tooth surface, it will perforate your labial surface of the tooth. That will be the perforation. If you do this gauzing, if you don't follow the long axis of the tooth, okay, and if you don't give it is a 16-degree tilt to follow the long axis of the tooth, what will happen? You will gauze on the mesial side, or you will gauze on the distal side. So you have to follow the inclination of the tooth so that your burr will become parallel to the long axis of the tooth. So for central incisor, for lateral incisor, for canine, you have to follow the long axis of the tooth to avoid the gauzing majorly as well as the labially and lingually. Here, perforation. I told you, if you don't correct the gauzing, if you don't correct the your burr direction, what will happen? You will perforate on the labial side. So this is perforation. These are the common complication or common mistake a new new clinician or a new student will do. Miss Canal, I told you, you should know the canal morphology. You should anticipate the things. How many canals I can get in this tube. For that you should know normal anatomy, and for that you should be able to read the proper radiograph. Okay, so in order to avoid this missed canal, you have to do the two things. You have to first study your radiograph. You should know the normal anatomy of the tooth. You should know how many percentage I can get a two canals, three canals, four canals, and so that you will anticipate the things beforehand. And second thing, you should de-roof the pulp chamber completely. If you don't de-roof the pulp chamber completely, you are not able to see the floor of the pulp chamber properly, and you may miss the canal. Next is discoloration. Just now I told you, if you don't remove the pulp tissue completely from the pulp chamber, some of the pulp tissue, if you remain inside the pulp chamber, what will happen? It will bleed, or it will, because of bleeding, it will cause the discoloration of the crown. You all have seen that because of trauma, many times the pulp get discolored. Similarly, if you don't remove complete pulp tissue from the pulp chamber, the pulp which causing bleed, which causes bleeding, it remains inside the pulp chamber, and it will stain this labial surface of the tooth, and it will definitely hampers your post RCT restoration. What post RCT restoration we do? We do crown over. After the RCT, we do the crown over the tooth. We do the capping of the tooth. If this tooth is discolored, you cannot give non-metallic or complete all ceramic restoration. You have to bleach this part. And second thing, there are chances because of this remaining pulp tissue, reinfection of this pulp chamber, root canal will occur. Okay, so complete deroofing and complete removal of the pulp tissue, it is very necessary to avoid the discoloration. Discoloration, it is a mistake done by the operator. Next is ledge formation. If you don't see in a curved canal, if you don't follow the curvature of the root, okay, what will happen? As this instrument, it does not have flexibility, it will become a straight and it will cut in a straight line axis. Actually, it should follow this curvature. If you don't follow this curvature, your instrument will gauze on the labial surface of the wound. गेलं संपलं ते तुम्ही आता आलेच नाही
ते अटेंडन्स ना
हा
झाले असेल
झाली असेल का
ओके शेवटी
ते अपग्रेड केलं तरी अपग्रेड झालं नाही
हां
अपग्रेड केलं तरी अपग्रेड झालं नाही आज
कसं काय
मला 10 मिनिटं घ्यायचं होतं पण नाही झालं ते
चालू आहे ना आता पण
चालू आहे
हां
स्टुडंट आहेत का
हां काय
घेऊ का मग 10 मिनिटं घेऊ अजून
हो चालू आहे
ते ऍक्च्युली मला दिसतच नव्हतं ठीक आहे
की फक्त कसं आलं क्लोज करायचं
अच्छा अच्छा ओके ठीक आहे मी 10 मिनिटं घेतो अटेंडन्स घेतली तुम्ही सॉरी कॅन यू हिअर मी
Yes, ma'am.
So, see, if you don't remove complete pulp tissue from the pulp chamber, it will cause the discoloration. Okay, and if you don't follow the curvature, if the instrument don't follow this curvature of the root canal, it will cause a gauging on the outer surface of the curvature, and this is cause ledge formation. So, ledge formation it occurs if you don't curve your instrument to follow the canal curvature. Okay. And this is mostly due to the not following the curvature, or this may be due to the large number of root canal instrument. What happens because of the large number of root canal, this instrument it is not flexible. They are little bit stiff, and as they are little bit stiff, what will happen? They won't flex, and they won't follow the curvature. Okay. One second. Huh? Next is access cavity preparation for the premolars. I told you, see, whatever the cross section of the tooth at the C junction, that will be the outline form of your pulp chamber. At the C junction, whatever the cross section of the tooth at the C junction, that will be your outline form of your access cavity. So in upper, okay, the access cavity will be open. In upper, the access cavity will be open, and in lower, the access cavity will be oval. Okay. So in maxillary premolar, okay, so here you have two canals. In maxillary first premolar, you have two canals. One at the below your buccal crust, and one it is below your palatal crust. Okay. So entry point will be at the center of your central tooth. So the entry point of your burr, entry point of your round burr, it is will be at the center of your round bud. Here you are going to penetrate the enamel. So again, enamel will be penetrated at a high speed perpendicular to the enamel surface. Perpendicular, I am just repeating the thing, perpendicular towards the enamel surface and not perpendicular to the occlusal surface. Enamel surface. As soon as you reach the dentin, speed should be reduced, and as soon as you reach the pulp, speed should be very minimum so that tactile sense will be more, and you, the drop of the burr inside the pulp chamber you can feel with your fingers. Okay, see here, this is the entry point. Entry point should be with a high speed, round burr. Then as soon as you reach the dentin, speed should be reduced. As soon as you reach the pulp chamber, speed should be minimum to feel the drop of the burr. Now your burr it is dropped inside the pulp chamber. Now you can see the roof of the pulp chamber it is still intact. So doing outward movement of the round burr, you have to remove this roof of the budget, doing outward movement like this, like this, like this. So you have to remove the roof of the pulp chamber, and after that, now you have removed the roof of this pulp chamber. The walls of this cavity should be made divergent with the help of Taper-Fisher burr. So, Abhi, now this is your cavity. Okay, once you do the de-roofing, what will happen? The cavity will be like this, but after that the walls of this cavity, from the pulp chamber, the walls of this cavity should be made divergent towards the occlusal surface so that you can easily see all the things inside the pulp chamber, and you can easily see the floor of the pulp chamber. If you can see the floor of pulp chamber, you can locate these two canal orifices. So here, see here, deroofing is not yet completed. Okay. Now outward direction of the round burr. Now I told you the walls of the cavity preparation. This is made divergent towards the occlusal surface. Now you can see all the things. Imagine cross section wise. Now you can see all the things clearly of the pulp chamber, and you can easily locate the this canal orifices. See, the walls of this cavity walls are the divergent towards the occlusal surface. That's why you can locate these two canal orifices clearly. In upper, there are chances of seeing two canal orifices. In lower, you will see, in maximum time of cases, you will see only one canal orifice. So you can easily see this one canal orifice. Here, now individually one by one, you are going to see the access calculation. See all the things we have explained, but again, this is thing I just explained you. This is a good thing. Then after this is de-roofing, still it is roof is still intact. Now here the de-roofing is going on. Here the walls of the cavity they have been divergent. Now this is a completed axis cavity cross section wise, and if you see vertically, this is a completed axis cavity. See, the walls of the cavity should be made divergent towards the occlusal surface so that you can able to see everything in this pulp chamber. Okay, and you can easily remove all the pulp tissue so that there won't be discoloration of the tooth, and you can easily locate two canal orifices. The average length of maxillary premolar is 21.8 millimeter. Okay, and there are chances are in 99.6% of the cases there are one canal and one foramen for the maxillary premolar. Okay, two canals and one foramen is in 13% of cases, and two canals and two foramen in 72% of the cases. Then this is about the maxillary second premolar. Average length is 21 millimeter, one canal and one foramen in 75% of the cases, and 24% of the cases two canal and two foramen. Now, this is a mandibular premolar. Again, the same thing. The entry point, it is exactly at the center of the center of the ridge. There is a lingual ridge. If you remember this DADA, there is a lingual ridge. So, at the center of this lingual ridge, the entry point should be there. Okay, and after that, the speed should be highest at the enamel indenting, the speed should be reduced. As soon as you reach the pulp, the speed should be minimum so that you should be able to feel the drop of the burr inside the pulp chamber. Here you have just located and still the de-roofing it is not yet completed. The outward movement of the round burr, you are just removing the roof of the pulp chamber. And after that, I told you with the tape of Fisher burr, the walls of the cavity they are made divergent. You can here appreciate the walls of the cavity they are made divergent, so that you can easily see the floor of the pulp chamber and you can easily locate the canal orifice.